AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride! Woo!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
I appreciate it, bud. Have a good one.
Hey! No, we need the new one.
All right.
Yeah,
I get the new one.
We need the new one.
All right.
Taylor Sharp. Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Shea Dixon in 15 minutes. LSU cornerback Jakeem Jackson in studio next hour. Tigers going to play a little baseball tonight at the box. Kellen Moore out at NFL owners meetings. Got a ton to do. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Week 2, spring out on the Ponderosa. Tigers were on the practice field Tuesday, as is customary. Whenever they give us a media availability, we'll go, and I'll tell you what I saw. So what's interesting, I think, is from the first 3 practices, and we've talked about this a good bit, but there's so much roster turnover, right? 40-plus guys via the portal. You got 20 players, 19 players via the high school class. You've turned over 60 spots on your roster. So a lot of guys out there are running around in LSU uniforms. I just don't know who they are. Like when I look at the roster, I can go, oh, okay, well, that's Jace Brown. Or, oh, that's Jordan Ross or whatever, right? But because there's just so much new, it's taken a little acclimating to all of that. Well, what I decided to do today, and if you're not familiar, we get 5 periods or 5 5-minute periods. So we get to watch for 25 minutes. And the first period when they come out, To Call on Me by Eric Prides, by the way. Might want to play. Let's cue that up. That's like the first song they play every day when they come out, which is just weird. Lane's got the aux cord, and it's weird. They played Belinda Carlisle, Heaven is a Place on Earth today. I mean, that's just not the thing that I think the demographic of the 20-year-old college football player is really vibing to when they're out there on the practice field. But I digress. So the first thing they do when they come out is they do an 11-on-11 period. 1s-on-1s on one field, 2s-on-2s on another field. And it's fast. Today, they were situationally working third down plays. So they'll start at one end of the field at the 20, and they're just moving the ball. So regardless of what happens on the play, when it's dead at that spot, today they were playing another third down. 3rd and 5, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 15. You get it. It was situational. And so normally what I've been doing for these practices is feverishly trying to write down jersey numbers of who's on the field. Well, now I feel like we've got a pretty good, consistent look at who's with the 1s and who's with the 2s. So today I said, let me chart the plays. And so they ran 6 offensive plays. I'm going to tell you how that charted. The personnel differences, most all was the same. Landon Clark was still the first-team quarterback. The receivers were the same. It was Jace Brown, Jackson Harris, and Winnie Watkins. Offensive line was the same, left to right. It was Seaton, 70, the 70, the transfer from Ole Miss, Harper. So Seaton, Harper, Moore, Baugh, and Davis, left to right on the offensive line. Today, Trey'Dez Green was in a black jersey. I don't know what that signifies. I would assume no contact, but the quarterbacks are wearing gold. So if you don't know, offense wears white, defense wears purple, quarterbacks wear gold, no contact. Trey Dez was out there today in a black jersey, and whenever they went in the 11-on-11, it was the transfer Malachi Thomas who was out there with the first team. He actually caught a pass, which I'll get to here in a second. So not really notable difference other than that on offense. On defense, the one change we've kind of seen is they've rotated the defensive tackles, the interior tackles. So the last 3 practices, Deuce Gerald's has been with the first team, but who's been next to him is rotated. Last Thursday, it was Richard Anderson. On Saturday, it was Malik Blockton, the Auburn transfer. Today, it was Dom McKinley. But Gerald's, the freshman early enrollee, has continued to be there with the ones. I'm not reading much into this. It's still the 4th day of spring. But I think it's notable that a true threat, that while that position has continued to rotate next to him, he has still been the first guy out there. Also notable that Stephylon Green, the Clemson defensive tackle, was at practice for the first time. There's no reason given for his absence. He was not there any of the first 3 practices. He was there today wearing number 90. Looks really good in the uniform. Let's see. Okay, so, and then defensively, they were primarily running dime. So dime is 6 defensive backs. You get a nickel, 5 defensive backs, dime, 6 defensive backs. And what they did when they went dime is Devon Keys came off the field, so Daughtery was the only linebacker. They moved P.J. Woodland into the slot, and Jakeem Jackson went on the field and played the boundary opposite DJ Pickett. So your corners wide were Jakeem Jackson, DJ Pickett. Woodland covered the slot. You had Deshaun Spears at the star, and your safeties were Cooley and Ty Benefield. Everything else was the same. Jordan Ross and Prince Williman Mielen were your edges. So here were the 6 plays that we got to see. First play was a design quarterback run. Shotgun snap, and Landon Clark just rolled left and just ran around left end, ran for about 5 yards. The second play, they were running a 3rd and 5, simulating a 3rd and 5, and it was a design pass play. And Clark tucked it and found a seam and ran. And I'm telling you, if this was a game, he would have ran 70 yards for a touchdown. He found a crease on the left side, hit it, put his foot in the ground, exploded. It was a really impressive run. Now, they didn't let him run 70 yards because they're trying to do the drill fast. But what I'm telling you is he was 20 yards downfield. There was nobody near him. If it was a game or a scrimmage, he would have scored. So on one hand, really exciting. On the other hand, you're like, come on, defense with the running quarterback, right? Anyway. The third play, they ran a shallow cross to Malachi Thomas, the tight end. He was lined up on the right side. They ran about a 5-yard cross. Landon Clark hit him over the middle for a gain of about 10. The fourth play, they were simulating a 3rd and 10, and it was great coverage. And then Clark rolled to his right, and DJ Pickett was draped all over Jackson Harris. And so Clark just sort of threw it at their feet just to throw it away. But great coverage there by Pickett. The fifth play, there was a false start by the offense. And so then they ran the fifth play, and it was just a quick out into the flat to Jace Brown. That's the Kansas State transfer who looked really good, continues to look really good. Just rise up, boom, threw it in the flat, and Jace Brown got upfield. And then the final play was another coverage play where Landon Clark just tucked it, scrambled, and got a few yards because it was covered really well and the pocket was collapsing on him. So some wins for the offense, some wins for the defense, all things considered. Pretty good spirited practice and period there. When they went to individual, we did see, I think maybe most notable is that this was a really rough day for the quarterbacks. As a matter of fact, Lane Kiffin, when he met with reporters after practice, he was even asked about, the question was about, are they on schedule? Can you just scroll to the end of this? I don't need the full 40 seconds. But near the end of this bite, he says, he talks about how he wants them just to be more efficient, in particular in the passing game. And sometimes what we, the media, see lines up with what the coach is saying. Sometimes it doesn't because we get a small sample size. But this was a day where even against air, and it was a windy day, but even against air, this was not a very good day of pitch and catch for the quarterbacks.
No matter what with me, I wish there was more execution going on, especially offensively in the passing game. But again, you got all these new pieces. Yeah,
that's it. He said you got all these new pieces, and I think that's why I'm not going to undersell the importance of this spring. Like, say it every year. Some guys don't need – Whit Weeks does not need spring. It's his 4th year. He's been in Blake Baker's defense. He don't need spring. He needs to be healthy for Clemson. That's it. I don't need weeks out there at all, in spring or fall camp. Just be healthy and in shape for Clemson, and we're good. You have all new receivers except for Philip Wright, and you have 3 new scholarship quarterbacks. None of these dudes have played together. They need timing and rapport and cadence and all that stuff. So I think this is very important for the quarterbacks and the receivers just to get those reps and timing, which is why I think it's also important that Sam Leavitt is out there throwing. Now, Leavitt is not doing any of the running drills. He is, when they change stations, he is jogging the length of the field to different stations. But when they go 11 on 11, he's not participating. When they do quarterback running drills, he's not running. But when they're standing and throwing, he's throwing. And I think that is very, very important as they continue to develop timing, because you heard Lane Kiffin say it last week. Quarterback in this offense is like a point guard. They have to know it like the back of their hand. This thing functions at the pace they want it only if the quarterback gets it and is good enough. So you need these guys getting these reps. I think it is invaluable. Spring isn't valuable for everyone. This year, in this offense, in this system, with so much new, getting these reps is very important for these guys. So it was, I'm looking very quickly. I thought also today, by the way, I thought Trey Wilson, the Florida 5-star transfer, I took some videos of him. I'll post later, but he's exploded. You can just tell, man. There was they were running go balls, and I was in the end zone video, and so they were coming right at me, and you could just tell he's wearing 3. You could just tell, like, there's just a different gear with Trey Wilson, and it's going to be really exciting to watch which of these receivers start to develop and emerge here throughout the remainder of spring. They had 11 practices to go, 4 in the books. We do have availability again on Thursday for day 5. They're set to practice Saturday. However, we do not currently have media availability for Saturday. As I understand it, they're supposed to go to Tiger Stadium. Might be a scrimmage. I don't know. Lane hasn't said that definitively, but we're not going to get, as of now, access on Saturday. But as we get to see more, we'll let you know. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. Show Open Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of your Fighting Tigers of LSU. Remember, Tigers are back at the box tonight to take on Southern. If you're going to be at the box or watching at home, make sure you got plenty of delicious ice-cold Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light. Make sure you check out the officially licensed National Championship 16-ounce aluminum bottle. It's available at great local retailers. It's the white aluminum bottle with the silver tiger stripes and that National Championship logo on it. You can find it at great local retailers. Buy 2 cases. Buy 1 to keep and 1 to drink. It's Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR. All right, let me knock out a break, y'all. Every Tuesday, we talk some Cruton with Shea Dixon from On 3, the Bengal Tiger. We'll do it next. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
REV. Let's Rev. Let's Rev.com. Let's Rev.com. Let's Rev.com. Rev, we're talking home automation. We're talking security. We're talking cable. We're talking phone. We're talking your internet service provider. REV. Let's Rev. Rev recently installed their fiber network in my neighborhood, so the Mosconas switched all of our services to Rev once they laid fiber. We're talking high-speed internet, up to 5 gigs, lightning-fast speeds, backed by an all-fiber network, which is critical because when we talk about that all-fiber network, remember, it's buried under the ground, so you don't have to worry about a storm coming, knocking power lines down, and knocking you offline. It's Rev. 70,000 Louisiana home and business owners trust Rev. You should as well. So you can log on to the website to learn more. Remember, when you call Rev, you're going to get a local customer service agent on the phone that's here. So call them today at REV. Let's Rev.com. Let's Rev.com.
After Further Review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Welcome to the field, your Fighting Tigers of LSU! Yeah! Nothing gets me ready to practice at the end of March like Eric Pride.
Hey, you just feel the energy here. Feel it. Thank
God somebody gave Kiffin the aux cord. Dude, my guy, he is playing like his own like workout playlist that should just be in your earbuds and nobody else to hear. But I'm telling you, my guy, don't give an F. I mean, he's playing what he wants to hear. He is not concerned about anybody else and their musical taste or their opinion of his musical taste. I mean, we definitely heard Taylor Swift Love Story to a techno beat today.
You want me to try to find that one?
I would love it if you would.
All right, I'll try to find that one too.
We're brought to you by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Shea Dixon is with us here. Shea, you like Eric Pride's?
I don't even know what that is.
That's the song you just heard.
I guess I'm not familiar.
Oh man, you got to check out. Hey,
let me Google Eric. What?
Pride's like it's like PRY. It's like PRYDZ.
PRYDZ.
Yep, PRYDZ. And just check out the music video. Thank me later. It's just the most gratuitous thing ever. It's just really athletic looking women in workout pants doing like hip thrusts and things, like glute bridges. Like that's the video. It's ridiculous, but it's amazing at the same time.
I do see Swedish DJ and 2004 throwback. Goodness.
There it is.
Hit Single Call on Me. Now, I'm going to guess I know what that song is, but I'm not going to try to sing it.
You just heard it.
Is it that?
Yes. Yeah. You just heard. You didn't hear it on when you were on hold?
No, I was looking up recruiting info.
Well done. Okay. All right. Let's get to the issue at hand. All right. So the Tigers now are in spring. They can have visitors. Let's maybe go through some of the notables. I think probably Albert Simeon is maybe the most notable. He was here this weekend. Shea, am I right on that?
Golly, yes, time flies. That was this past weekend. No, that was so he was at the very first practice. So that would have been a week ago Tuesday.
Okay.
Correct? But that was notable because, and Albert Simeon coming out of Lake Charles, he is a 5-star, one of a handful in Louisiana. He's the lone O-lineman who's a 5-star in Louisiana and has been a guy who Texas A&M, he's on their campus right now, has been heavy on him. Notre Dame is very heavy on him. They sent Marcus Freeman down to see him during January's open period. He's been up there. Academics are a big factor here, and obviously with Notre Dame, they've pressed that. So A&M and Notre Dame are the out-of-state schools that I've been watching. I mean, he's got every offer in the country. But Lane Kiffin went and saw him during that same stretch that Freeman did in January. February was the dead period. So when he got to come to practice a week ago, it was the first time he had gotten to meet face-to-face with Lane, the offensive staff, Eric Wolford, your new O-line coach. Lane's talked about kind of a two-headed approach at O-line. We all know James Craig because he'd coached here before. So he got to meet with James Craig and talk with him. And do you remember, Matt, when Lane Kiffin said about recruiting after the first practice that it's refreshing with Louisiana recruits where he didn't sit down and talk to kids and parents about money or NIL or what can you give me? It was about academics. It was about what are your plans for the team? What type of shot would he have to play? All of these things. I think he was talking about Albert Simeon and a handful of kids, but from digging through things, I think that's one that kind of fits what Lane was talking about. And that was huge to get Simeon here for the first time when this new staff, and look, we'll talk about another guy who got to meet him for the first time, Ahmad Hudson, but these guys are like, look, I'm in group chats, texts with the staff and me, and we just, including Lane, and we just talk about whatever. But until we get to meet in person, it's different, right? And I guess that term is thrown out a lot these days around LSU, just different. But both of those guys, your two of the 5-stars in Louisiana, within the past week have gotten to meet with the staff for the first time. So while it felt very much like, okay, dead period in February, they focused on the team in early March, they only have 2 commits, when is recruiting going to pick up? We've got our answer. It was spring ball just as I presumed it would be.
You mentioned Ahmad Hudson, so let's give the update there.
So he was back this past weekend, or 2 weekends, I should say. He was part of that first wave of spring practice visitors. And again, this is your number one tight end in America coming out of Ruston. He has basketball and football offers. LSU and Nebraska were going to be back-to-back visits. He did the LSU visit and said he was the one who was like, look, I'm in group chat, texted daily with these guys. But it was really cool to see them in person. You get to meet Charlie Weiss in person, Joe Cox in person, and they had gone up and seen him at Ruston during January's time on the road. But now that they're at LSU and being down at football ops and sitting down with Lane Kiffin and all of that kind of takes things to a new level. And I'll give you a couple of little scoops here. One, just so people know, he does have legitimate offers in basketball and football from all of these different schools. And Nebraska is a team I've mentioned that have kind of been in the front runners with LSU, and they made the tourney this year. They won their first game ever in the tourney in basketball. So they've been heavily on him, but it was supposed to be LSU then Nebraska back-to-back weekend. He was going to go see kind of his top two teams, and then in the month of April, make some more visits, and then you get into official visits. Well, he didn't make the Nebraska trip. He ended up having an opportunity. Team USA basketball had a function, and he got invited to it. So he did that. You're not passing that up. But I will say, a lot of people have asked about, like, McMahon had offered him, right? And what happens with Will Wade and him now here. I do think that you'll see Wade and this staff have that same kind of open invitation. This is a guy who is very highly touted on the court. And remember, even back in the day, no matter what, like if you played two sports, you were on the football scholarship. Well, now football's got like 1,000 scholarships, right? So no issue at all if he gets on football scholarship and wants to test his hand at basketball. We saw Trey Green do it. Speaking of Trey, I think his exact quote was, "They're selling me on Trey Green's role." Trey Green is in, what, year 3? Ahmad Hudson is going into a senior year. This is your heir apparent. A 6'6" kid who's already 230 and plays both sports. I mean, everything that Trey was profile-wise coming out of high school, so is Ahmad Hudson up at Ruston. But what I found interesting, or at least something to mention, Matt, you and I were at the introductory press conference for Will Wade, and we saw a lot of kind of the who's who of power players around the state there, but a number of former players. I mean, if you're going from the College Temple era all the way up to Tyrus Thomas and guys like that, and I think one person that not a lot of people may have had a head on the swivel for, but Antonio Hudson, Ahmad's dad, was there, made the drive down, and for those that don't know, he had played basketball, all SEC guy for LSU back in the Brady era, and he was there for day one of Wade's press conference. So I'm looking at, look, yes, he will get back to Nebraska, but not going on that visit, doing the Team USA thing, and then Pop showing up day one of the Will Wade presser, and then obviously him coming and meeting with the staff, Ahmad for the first time in person. It's lining up for me to where I just feel like it's going to be so tough for anyone to beat LSU out for a guy who's ranked top 15 nationally, regardless of a position. Again, the Trey Green heir apparent, and we've already seen how Lane talks about Trey Green. I mean, he named him as one of 3, quote unquote, ultra elite players on this team. They are pitching to Ahmad Hudson, "You are Trey Green. When he's out of here, you're in." And it seems to fit perfectly.
He's on Twitter at Shea Dixon. I did see Antonio yesterday. I got to chat with him a little bit. A lot of those former players that were there for the Will Wade introductory presser. There were a couple more for you, Shea. There were, I don't know, Saturday was crowded out at practice. It was family day, but they also had a bunch of recruits in. Among them, Caden Moss, who's the number 1 offensive lineman in Mississippi. Jaden Bryant was back as well this weekend. Who are some of the notables, Shea, that have been visited this past weekend for spring, and maybe not only just the notables, but what's maybe significant about some of these guys that were on campus this past weekend?
Yeah, you mentioned Jaden Bryant. So they have 2 commits. Peyton Houston, the quarterback of the Angels, your other. And he got invited to the Elite 11 finals recently. He did really well at the UA, kind of the up next camp this past weekend, getting MVP. And we've seen what he can do on the field of the Angels. So they're sticking with him at quarterback. But the other guy committed is Jaden Bryant. And he's a South Carolina native. They hired Sterling Lucas to be the DN. We thought D-line coach. Now we've seen him coaching DNs at practice and Kevin Peoples coaching D tackles. I don't know if they're going to keep mixing that up or how that goes, but Bryant committed because Sterling Lucas was someone who's super close to recruiting the in-state number one guy out of South Carolina, and he quickly popped in January. So this was his first chance to be back, see the whole staff, everything like that. Actually, second. He came in January, late January, and now again. So a couple of visits there is big. You mentioned that Caden Moss comes out of Jackson Academy. He's a top 3 interior lineman in America. Albert Simmey, who we just talked about, is one of the only 2 guys ranked ahead of him. So they had 2 of the top 3 interior linemen on campus. And he was a guy that this staff, certainly on offense, right, is familiar with because they recruited him heavily to Ole Miss. And he said from day one, like a lot of these guys that have that carryover was, I already knew these guys. Like outside of Eric Wolford, who was at Kentucky, everyone else is on the offensive staff is by and large from Ole Miss. So he said, hey, look, this is putting LSU right into the thick of things. He's got a bunch of recent campus trips that he's taken, but LSU being one of them was certainly notable. And I wrote a story on this. So it's those 2 guys right there. Jaden Bryant, number 1 player in South Carolina. Caden Moss, number 1 player in Mississippi. It didn't end there. Anthony Sweeney was on campus, 5-star. He's your number 1 player in Maryland. He's an edge rusher. Number 3 edge rusher in the country. Sterling Lucas brought him down, and he gave pretty rave reviews and said, look, my recruitment is wide open. And I think that's evident by he's just gone through all of these visits. There's been no predictions made on where he might end up on the Rivals RPM. And then to take it a step further, these guys are all rising seniors. If we go to the 2028 class, they had 1 more player who was number 1 in his state coming out of Arizona, Jelani George, Desert Edge kid. Actually came with a teammate of his at Desert Edge. He's a top 5 safety for next year, but his name's Jalen Eastern Flores for the diehard recruiting fans that want to file that name away. But will be a junior. Matt, not just the number 1 player in Arizona, number 1 overall player in the country, just like Lamar Brown was in this past class. So on campus, at one time, they had 4 kids from 4 different states that all ranked number 1 in their state. And none of them were, I'm not beefing this up by adding a Louisiana guy in there, right? Like these were 4 kids from outside the state, only one of them being a border state kid, Caden Moss out of Mississippi. So you're starting to see this far-reaching kind of impact, however you want to put it. And LSU does always recruit nationally. Lane talks about it. The 3 letters on that chest mean something different. But this staff being able to kind of branch out nationally and not just hand out offers and get into the mix or secure an official visit, they're getting these kids to pay their own way to come down here from halfway across the country to visit LSU. So I think the buzz nationally around Lane and the staff is catching the attention of a lot of recruits that, look, how often, I can't list you off all the Arizona and Maryland kids that they've ever signed. It's not a ton, but just having them here on campus this early, like before official visits, is pretty notable.
Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger. Up against the break, Shea. I got to run. Next week when you're back, we'll talk a little deeper about Will Wade, his staff, all that stuff. We'll probably have some more answers as far as staff, budget, recruiting,
sure
all that stuff as well.
Roster by then, Matt,
well,
right?
I think what you will have is a voided roster, as pretty much everybody on this roster is going to be in the portal by the time we talk next week. Shea, we appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. Keep up the good work.
Thanks, man. We'll see you. It's After Further Review. Hey, we're brought to you by Supper Club. Supper Club is open. Remember, they're closed Mondays, but they're back open now on Tuesdays. Was there Saturday night. Awesome. After Erica and I, with our friend, went to an event Saturday night. Afterwards, went over to Supper Club to have a cocktail, and I ended up sitting at the bar. We walked inside the bar. I tell you that all the time. It was Saturday night. We didn't have a reservation. We just walked in and we sat at the bar. We grabbed 3 bar stools. The girls had a glass of wine. I had an old-fashioned, drank a whiskey, and ordered a steak. So if you want to sit at the bar, you can do that. The girls had an appetizer. Up to you. You want to get your reservation? Do it. Supperclubbtr.com. Supperclubbtr.com. If you want to go get your reservation, you can do it online right there. No matter if you're celebrating an anniversary, a birthday, graduation coming up as well, promotion, you got a client in town, you want to do some business, whatever the case may be, or just because it's a day that ends in Y. Go by Supper Club. Supperclubbtr.com for your reservations. Supperclubbtr.com. All right, let me knock out a break, y'all. We'll go around the SEC when we come back. Our Tuesday shows are powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Kim Mulkey has added a staff member, and another LSU basketball Tiger has hit the transfer portal in hoops. We'll talk some Saints in about 25 minutes from right now. Kellen Moore, what he had to say out at the NFL owners meeting. So a ton to do, and glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
If you're thinking about selling your home, you know what to do. Call Darren James and get your home sold. Why? Because Darren James guarantees he's going to sell your home. It's the Guaranteed Sale Program. I've told you about it for more than a decade now. But it works like this. And yes, this is legitimately true. There's no catch. Call Darren. You'll sit down. He'll do an evaluation of your home. He'll tell you a price and a deadline he can sell your home. You'll agree to that. You'll agree to the price and the deadline. If Darren doesn't sell your home at that price, by that deadline, he'll have your home bought with cash, or he'll sell it absolutely free for his half of the commission. You got nothing to lose. You need to sell your home fast for the most amount of money. You need Darren James. So call him today. What are you waiting on? I'll give you a cell. 335-7666. Call him or text him right now. 335-7666. 335-7666. 335-7666 or agent225.com for Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Little did I know that you were throwing pebbles and my daddy said stay.
That's it. That's the one.
Wait, is this really the one that he had playing?
That's it.
Oh, I'm so happy I nailed this.
I mean, if we're being honest, Muse, all you had to do was Google love story. Actually, no, I think.
I was going to say, bro,
No.
a lot of them popped up.
Okay, I was going to say because the one, it was Taylor. Yeah, this isn't Taylor singing. I don't know who's singing. But this was the vibe. This was the vibe.
This doesn't just make you want to put the pads on and go hit somebody?
So the first day that they had spring ball out there, and I Shazammed all the songs that were playing because it was odd. And then I tweeted a list, and Ole Miss fans have become insufferable. They're trying to ruin my Twitter mentions. They're like, oh, you're such a shill for Kiffin. I'm like, do you not understand that I'm making fun of him? Like, that's what this is. In a friendly, playful way. But this is, you do understand the absurdity of football practice, and that's what's being played at football practice. I mean, if it's 40-year-old moms taking spin classes, crank that up. You know what I mean? That's, right?
Yeah, this is right in their wheelhouse.
That's what you would expect.
Oh, yeah.
20-year-old dudes, football practice. Not as much. Not really. Mm-mm. This is better than the original, to be honest. Don't tell my wife that you said that.
It's pretty good.
It's after further review. Cobble just texted me Belinda Carlisle. You missed the first segment, Cobble. We already talked about that.
I might have that one in the
it's queued up.
In the chamber. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
We might just let Lane handle our bump music from here on out on practice days.
What I can do is I can send you the Shazam list of the songs, and so you can have what he plays, and it's his playlist. They make no mistake. I've been going to practice for a lot of years, and piping in music at practice has been a thing for a long time.
Of course, yeah.
Be it, getting guys energized during the workout or whatever, or just have like noise while you're trying to practice, just like to simulate a game or whatever with noise. We took a 90-degree turn here with the practice music this year. And there's only one variable that's changed.
That's very true.
All right, it's after further review. Hey, we're brought to you by Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Do business with someone you know, Parish Construction and Roofing. We'd love to give you that free, no-obligation roofing inspection. Hey, last week, we're fired up, man. We gave away $25,000. Shout out BJ Richard was our big $25,000 winner. Even if you didn't win the $25,000, look, the bottom line is we're a great local company with local people, with local crews, and we'd love to help you out. If you've got an issue with your roof repairs, replacements, commercial, residential, literally no matter how big or small. We got a social media post up right now with Matt Pearson, who's our commercial roofing manager. You can see the size, scale, scope of jobs we do on the commercial and industrial side. But, of course, we can take care of a small repair at your home, gutters. We fabricate our own metals, so we can take care of that for you as well. We do soft wash, not only for your roof, but for the entire exterior of your home. We'd love to help you out. Parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Do business with someone you know, Parish Construction and Roofing. All right, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the Florida Gators.
Redshirt junior defensive lineman Mason Clinton underwent surgery for a torn meniscus in his left knee. Timeline is unknown. I've had that surgery. It sucks. He's 6'5", 300 pounds, transferred to Florida from Southern Miss this offseason.
The Missouri Tigers.
Safety Elijah Dotson has also undergone surgery for a torn labrum. It's pretty much what happens during spring. Guys get surgery and get ready for the fall. He's a Michigan transfer. He's expected to be back fully for summer workouts. Dotson, 6'1", 192-pounder. Had 11 tackles last year as a true freshman at Michigan in 2025.
The Texas Longhorns.
SMU transfer offensive lineman Paris Patterson has committed to Texas. He spent time with Arkansas before he went to SMU, now on his third season. Spent 2 years there in Dallas at SMU. He'll have 2 seasons of eligibility remaining.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
Center Somto Cyril plans to enter the transfer portal. By the way, he is 6'11", 260 pounds. He's a basketball center. Sorry, I didn't tell Taylor. We got a football guy. My bad. That's on me. His third player from Georgia to enter the transfer portal, averaged 9 points, 5 boards this past year for the Bulldogs.
The Oklahoma Sooners.
Oklahoma's added 2027 offensive lineman Isaac Coffrin to their class. He's out of Katy, Texas. The 20th commit for OU's 2027 class. Chose the Sooners over Houston, Baylor, Arizona, and others.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
And Neff Jiwa, the 20-year-old Irishman. Never played American football, but he committed to play football at South Carolina as an offensive lineman. He's been a rugby player. 37-inch long arms, great foot speed. 6'7.5", 295. Hell on a rugby pitch, I tell you what. Anyway, picked the Gamecocks over Miami, North Carolina, SMU, Tennessee, and Texas. So for having never played football, dude had a lot of offers.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
And one quick basketball note, Kentucky expected to hire Jackson State head coach Mo Williams as an assistant for the upcoming season. Of course, Mo Williams, former NBA champion. He was an NBA All-Star. He was a McDonald's All-American back in the day. Was the head coach at Alabama State. Jackson State, since retiring from the NBA now, heading to join the Kentucky basketball staff. His son, by the way, Mason Williams, is a 4-star point guard who recently became the first commit of Kentucky's 2026 class. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. Our Tuesday shows are powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Visit sunequip.com, sunequip.com for sunshine, bunky, and below. You want a Deere, you know where you're going. You're going to Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. All right, y'all, it is after further review, and we're glad to have you hanging out with us here. Let's knock out a quick break, come back, wrap up hour number 1, a LSU men's basketball update, a women's basketball update, and we got a very likely probability now of future Super Bowls that could very well be coming to New Orleans. We'll tell you about it when we return on AFR.
After further review.
If you want to look and feel like your younger self, our friends at Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness can help. Yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. Yes, part of what they do is ED treatments, but they do so much more than that. At Goodwood, it's about helping you live your optimal life. And what does that mean? That sounds like a throwaway line. Okay. So many different treatments to help you maximize vitality and feel your best. For example, hormone replacement therapy. You go to Goodwood, they'll do a simple blood draw. I was there last week because I had to do my blood labs, do that every 6 months. They'll take a vial of blood. They'll run your labs. A day later, they'll get the results. They'll call you. And they'll let you know if they feel like they can supplement you to get you to healthy levels. And I'm here to tell you, so often you don't know how bad you feel until you start feeling good again. Feeling bad becomes your normal. It is so worth it to live your best life to go do that blood draw at Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. YourGoodwood.com. YourGoodwood.com.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Ooh, baby, do you know that's worth? Ooh, heaven is a place on earth. They say in heaven, love comes first. We'll make heaven our place on earth. Ooh,
I mean, you get it, right? You get why it's odd.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. He's just happy to be here, man. He thinks it's heaven on earth. Look, he loves it.
I'm not criticizing the song. A lot of people know it. It's very it's a popular hit for many decades. It's just not the thing you expect to hear when you go to LSU football practice.
Not at all.
I'm just underscoring that Lane has the aux cord and doesn't give a single F what you want to hear. If he wants Belinda Carlisle, guess what's going to be playing?
Belinda Carlisle.
Loudly.
Yeah.
Now, when I left and came back, because we have about an hour between practice and then Lane's media availability, when I came back, Set It Off by Boosie was playing on the practice
That's
field.
a little more like it.
That feels more appropriate.
Yes.
This, Belinda Carlisle, respect. She's 67 now. I had to look it up.
Okay.
But again, not the thing you think you're going to hear at practice.
Mm-mm.
It's not a commentary on the song. It's time and place, sort of. Like, could you imagine if that was your walkout song if you're like an MMA fighter?
No, that'd be kind of funny though, man. I'm not gonna lie, but no fighter would do that though, because I mean, you lose credibility.
Would.
You lose credibility. Well, Lane Kiffin's not gonna be an MMA fighter. I mean, you would lose credibility instantly. Combat sport. I mean, come on.
But then again, I would say if there's anyone who could get away with it, it's someone who's going to lock themselves in a cage to fight another human.
Yeah.
Like, I dare you to make fun of his song choice, sort of thing. Like, he's going to do whatever. Because
that's an interesting way to look at
honestly,
it.
you have to be a little insane anyway to want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, truly. I mean, whoever, and I love the sport, but you have to be a little insane. So maybe you are the type of person that would play Belinda Carlisle as your walk-up song. Anyway, it's after further review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. Another LSU basketball Tigers hit the portal. Maisie Mosley, we learned today, is entering the transfer portal. So that's the third now player from Matt McMahon's squad. Played 19 games this year as a freshman under Matt McMahon. Averaged just under 7 minutes per game. So not a guy that played a ton for LSU. He's hit the transfer portal, or will hit the transfer portal when it opens on April the 7th. So we'll keep an eye. He had offers from Michigan and Iowa and Southern Cal, among others, when he was coming out of high school. So we'll keep an eye. I can't imagine many players from this current roster will be back next year. But Will Wade was asked about meetings with the current roster when he was introduced on Monday.
I've had some one-on-one meetings with 5 or 6 of the guys. I mean, look, we had a lot of seniors last year. Look, we want anybody at LSU that wants to be at LSU. If you want to be here, we want you here. I've talked to all of them about, Skylar Mays. We inherited him the first time we were here from Coach Jones. Skylar turned out, now he was a freshman going into a sophomore year. He turned out to be a tremendous player for us, got drafted and played in the NBA. And, we want folks that, like I said, are excited about LSU. And so we've had those conversations. Those conversations will continue, and we're going to support the guys, whatever they want to do.
It was a very nondescript answer. And I understand that because it's in Will Wade's defense, that's almost an impossible question to answer, right? I mean, he gets hired on Friday. He has the weekend, which was a whirlwind, and he's introduced at noon on Monday. He said he had spoken to 5 or 6 of the players, but it's impossible to have the expectation that you're going to have those answers at that press conference. But this week is going to be a lot of that. Evaluate the current roster, guys who may have the opportunity to return, and then you're looking for what your roster is going to be in 2026. So the 26-27 season, I should say. So we'll keep you posted as that moves along. All right, it's After Further Review. We are brought to you by Evamore, EVAMOR, Evamore.com, Evamore.com. Drink Evamore, delicious natural artesian water. You can get it all over, not just in Louisiana. This is a Louisiana product. Remember, that artesian well is right there in Covington on the North Shore. When you turn onto the Evamore facility, you'll see the well right there. They pipe that water out right into the bottle. It doesn't touch air until you uncork it, take that first delicious sip, uncap it, I should say. Take that first delicious sip. You want to find the retailer nearest you? Go to evamore.com, EVAMOR, evamore.com. Just hit the menu on the side. It says find a store. Type in your zip code, and it'll spit out the location nearest you, evamore.com, EVAMOR, evamore.com. All right, hour number 2 is coming up right after sports. And we'll talk some Kellen Moore, who's out at the NFL owners' meetings.
After Further Review.
Jakeem Jackson is going to be in studio as well with us in about 20 minutes from right now. We're brought to you by Arco Power Systems, ARCCO, Arco.com, Arco.com, Industrial Generac Generator Power. We're expecting rain all this week. Literally every day this week, it's going to rain. And you know what it's like when we get through spring and summer months where we have these crazy, sometimes torrential pop-up showers. And then, of course, when we get into storm season, we live in that storm belt where the Gulf Coast is often threatened by those storms. So what happens to your business when the power goes out? If you don't know the answer to that question, you need Arco Power Systems. Arco can sell, service, install, rent you industrial Generac generator power. Arco.com, Arco.com, ARCCO, Arco.com. We talk about it all the time for your home, right? Home standby generators and having a plan for when the storm comes and the power goes out. What about your business? That's what Arco does. ARCCO, Arco.com.